Columbus, Ohio just got ranked as one of the fastest growing Midwest metros for 2026. And with everything that's breaking ground this year, I'm not even surprised by that. We're talking about over $3 billion being pumped into new developments all across the city. But where exactly is the money going? And even more importantly, how is the development going to affect our lives here, especially if you're thinking about making that move to Columbus, Ohio? And if you want the answers for all these questions, just stick around. I'm about to break down every single game-changing development coming to Columbus in 2026, from the massive industrial projects that no one's talking about to the infrastructural overhauls that are about to transform how you move around in this city. Listen, I've been in real estate for what feels like forever now at this point, and I've never seen something quite like what's happening right now. So how exactly did Columbus end up outpacing cities like Austin, Nashville, and even parts of North Carolina in development investments? Well, we haven't gotten lucky as many people think. Columbus has been quietly building the infrastructure and business environment that major companies and developers have been waiting for. From an investment standpoint, we're seeing about 8 to 11% on development projects, and those aren't just numbers on spreadsheets either. What this tells me is that Columbus's economy isn't just stable, it's primed for explosive growth. While other Midwestern cities have seen a ton of pullbacks as interest rates climb, Columbus keeps attracting massive investments. And this tells me everything that I need to know about where the smart money thinks the future is headed. Listen, if this is your first time on the channel, my name is Gagan with the Living in Columbus, Ohio, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to Central Ohio. No one else is bringing you the insider development information that actually affects your decision-making process like us. So if you're thinking about making that move at all, give us a call, shoot us a text. All of our information is down below and pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's get started with something absolutely massive. Now, there's something really big happening near the Rickenbacker airport that's fundamentally going to change Columbus's economy and identity, and most people have no idea that it's actually coming and the massive impact that it's about to have. Andrew Industries is bringing what they're calling the Arsenal One project, a 5 million square foot advanced manufacturing facility that's going to produce military drones and autonomous air vehicles. And by the way, when I say the word massive, I mean it's going to employ over 4,000 people with an average salary of over $85,000. We're talking about nearly $910 million in capital investments scheduled to open in July of 2026. But here's why this actually matters more than just the jobs. This positions Columbus as a major defense technology center, which means other defense contractors, suppliers, and even tech companies, they're going to follow suit. And what does this mean for you if you're thinking about making that move here? First, it's going to create a whole new category of high-paying jobs that didn't exist in Columbus before. Second, it's going to drive demand for housing in areas like Rickenbacker, particularly in communities like Groveport, Canal Winchesters, and even parts of southern Franklin County that's been completely unnoticed. But here's the insider knowledge that no one is telling you. Andrew specifically chose Columbus because of our logistics infrastructure, our skilled workforce from Ohio State's engineering program, and our central location for distributing projects nationwide. Look, this isn't just a manufacturing plant. It's proof that Columbus can compete for the most advanced industrial projects in America. I've actually had both people that are looking to invest and people that are relocating to Columbus for this job. On social media, I run one of the pages called the Columbus Report. I'll put it right here so you can check it out. It's one of the fastest growing media cohorts in the entire city. And every single time that I talk about Andrew, it's filled with number one, backlash, and number two, support. People absolutely love the fact that Andrew is coming here. More jobs, more opportunities. And at the same time, people are saying, look, I don't want these defense contractors here in my backyard. And with all that being said, I'm not here to pick a side of this or that. But what is factually evidence are two things. Number one, I've had multiple individuals that are thinking about relocating here from places like Miami and California because of job opportunities that are going to come into play. And number two, I had multiple individuals look to purchase investment opportunities in those areas that we talked about before because they think those corridors are going to absolutely blow up with all these developments that are happening. If you're thinking about making that move to Columbus, Ohio, one of the biggest things that I tell everyone is if you're financially able and you know that you're coming here, it might make sense to make that purchase and then decide when you're going to come here, because there's so many people reaching out to us left and right that it just makes sense. And I think Columbus is ready to boom. Listen, if you've driven through downtown Columbus recently, you've seen the construction chaos, but what you might not realize is that ODOT's downtown ramp-up project is going to completely transform how Columbus functions as a city. This is the single largest transportation project in the region right now, with several phases of 4R and 6R elements completing in 2025 and key flyover ramps opening up by year's end. Look, they're not just fixing roads, they're rebuilding the entire highway system that runs through downtown. New bridges, redesigned ramps, improved traffic flows that are going to cut commute times from suburbs to downtown by 15 to 20 minutes. The High Street crossing reconstruction alone is going to create development opportunities that didn't exist yesterday. And here's the thing that no one is talking about. This multi-phase project is creating buildable land in downtown areas that were previously unusable because of highway infrastructure. Once the remaining phases are complete, you're going to see a development boom in downtown areas that are currently just concepts and ramps. Look, I still remember the days when Columbus used to be a breeze to travel through. In fact, I actually enjoyed driving. I love listening to Bollywood music, jamming on the roads, and now it just doesn't feel that way. Traffic, especially in I-70 and I-71, is absolutely disgusting. Downtown, you have to compete and pray against every other person to actually find a spot. And for people that are thinking about making that move here or living here, both of these things are absolutely incredibly frustrating. So for anyone that's thinking about buying properties in downtown or near downtown neighborhoods, this infrastructure investment is going to dramatically improve connectivity and property values. Areas like Franklinton, the Brewery District, and even parts of the Short North are going to benefit from reduced traffic congestion and better highway access as a whole. Listen, speaking about downtown transformation, the Merchants Building project is going to be one of the most significant mixed-use developments in Columbus's history. We're talking about a 32-story tower that combined a hotel, residential units, office spaces, restaurants, and major expansions of the North Market. Construction is currently underway right now, with completion scheduled for late 2026. And on the screen right now, you should be able to see a video that someone took on Instagram that showcases the building and kind of the construction completion as of right now. Look, here's what makes this project so significant. It's not just adding housing or hotel rooms downtown, it's creating a vertical community where people can live, work, eat, and shop without leaving their building. Look, the North Market expansion is particularly exciting because it's going to double the size of one of Columbus's most popular food destinations. But here's the insider angle that no one's really telling you. The residential units in the building are going to be some of the most desirable downtown living spaces ever built in Columbus, with direct access to the market, walking distance to everything downtown, and amenities that compete with luxury buildings in much larger cities. Look, if you're considering downtown living, this project is going to set the standard for what urban living looks like in Columbus. The waitlist for the residential units is already forming, and prices are going to reflect the premium location and the amenities. Now, here's a development that's going to change how you actually move around Columbus entirely. The LinkUS bus rapid transit system is something that we need to talk about. The West Broad Street corridor is breaking ground in 2026, but this isn't just adding more buses. This is dedicated bus lanes, modern stations, transit services that actually compete with driving. The full LinkUS plan is on an $8 billion investment over multiple phases, but the West Broad corridor is going to prove that Columbus can do modern public transit. This is one of the biggest things that people have been asking for. We're talking about buses that run every 10 minutes, dedicated lanes that bypass traffic, and stations that look more like light rail shops than traditional bus stops. And here's exactly why this matters for housing decisions. Properties along the BRT corridor are going to see significant value increases. West Broad Street from downtown to the Hilltop area is already seeing increased development interest because developers know the transit access is going to drive property value. But here's the strategic insight. Columbus is building this transit system to connect job centers with affordable housing areas. The West Broad Street corridor connects downtown jobs with housing that's still reasonably well priced. And if you're looking for areas where property values are going to appreciate significantly, look at neighborhoods within walking distance of the planned BRT stations. The Blue Jackets home arena is also getting a $400 million renovation that's going to transform it into one of the premier entertainment venues in the Midwest. We're talking about a completed roof replacement, new HVAC systems, redesigned entrances, upgraded concessions, and a rooftop terrace that's going to offer incredible downtown views. Look, this isn't just about a hockey game. This renovated design is going to attract major concerts, conventions, and events that just happen to currently bypass Columbus for Cleveland or Cincinnati venues. The upgraded capacity and amenities are going to make Columbus a destination for entertainment that we've just never seen before. And for anyone that's considering downtown investments or downtown living, this arena and renovation is going to drive more more foot traffic, more events, and more reasons for people to spend more time and more money downtown. Look, the Arena District is already one of the most active nightlife areas in Columbus, and this upgrade is going to amplify this significantly. All right, let's talk about what's happening in Gahanna, because the Creekside Plaza revitalization is a perfect example of how Columbus suburbs are evolving beyond just the traditional strip mall developments. They're spending between $18 and $22 million to transform Creekside Plaza into what they're calling the Gahanna Creekside Reimagine. We're talking about amphitheater seatings, interactive water features, programmable event spaces, bistro-style seatings, and enhanced connectivities to the trail systems. But here's what makes this project so significant. It's not just beautification, it's creating the kind of community gathering spaces that actually make suburbs feel less generic and more like an actual community. Gahanna is investing in becoming a destination rather than just a place where people sleep between workdays. This matters because it's happening across Columbus suburbs as a whole. Communities are investing in amenities and experiences that make them compete with urban living. Look, if you're considering suburban life but want community engagements and walkable amenities, pay attention to suburbs that are making these kind of investments. Look, here's something that's going to fly under the radar but could be absolutely huge. Ohio State is expanding their research corridor along the Olentangy River Road with new faculties and new facilities focused on advanced manufacturing, medicine device developments, and agricultural technology. The university isn't making big announcements about this because it's already happening in phases, but they're creating research partnerships with private companies that are going to bring high-tech jobs and innovation to Columbus in ways that most people just simply do not realize. What this means is that in areas near the OSU campus, particularly along the Olentangy River corridor, they're going to see an increased demand from highly educated professionals working in these research partnerships. Clintonville, parts of Upper Arlington, and even some parts of downtown, they're going to benefit from this expansion. Look, Columbus is also becoming one of America's major logistics hub, and the expansion happening in Rickenbacker International Airport, it's going to solidify that position. They're adding 2 million square feet of cargo facilities and warehouse spaces designed to handle the increase in e-commerce and just-in-time manufacturing with companies like Amazon and, well, a bunch of others that are right here. This expansion is creating thousands of logistics and warehouse jobs, but more importantly, it's attracting companies that need central distribution points for serving the eastern half of the United States. I don't know if you know this, but Columbus's location means that you can reach 50% of the US population within a day's drive, and companies are finally recognizing that, and they're taking advantage of it in full swing. Look, for housing, this means parts of southern Franklin County and parts of northern Pickaway County, they're going to see an increased demand from workers in these logistics jobs. By the way, these aren't minimum wage positions either. They're modern logistics and warehouse works that pay well and offer advanced opportunities. Let's combine this with something that most people didn't even know is happening. Columbus is creating an unofficial technology district in downtown areas between the Arena District and the university area. Multiple tech companies are choosing downtown Columbus offices, and co-working spaces designed for tech startups are opening throughout downtown. Look, this isn't happening because of one big announcement. It's happening because Columbus offers tech companies something that coastal cities don't: reasonable operation costs, access to Ohio State talent, and a quality of life that lets employees actually afford to live near where they work. The development impact is that downtown residents' demand is shifting towards young professionals in tech rather than just empty nesters and college students. Look, this is driving demand for different types of housing. We're talking modern apartments with tech-friendly amenities, co-working spaces, and restaurants that cater to tech workers as a whole. But the question remains here: what does all of this mean for 2026 and the future, especially if you're thinking about making that move to Columbus? Look, when you put all of these developments together, what's happening is that Columbus is positioning itself to compete with much larger cities while maintaining the affordability and the quality of life that makes it so attractive in the first place. The Arsenal One project makes us a defense tech center. The infrastructure overhaul makes us connected and accessible. The transit investment makes us more sustainable and livable. The arena renovation makes us an entertainment destination. The research corridor expansion makes us an innovation hub. And these aren't separate projects like so many people think they are. They're not happening in isolation. They're part of a coordinated transformation that's going to change what Columbus is and what it's offering to residents as a whole. And look, from a housing price perspective, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're expecting modest price increases in 2026, but the development activity suggests that property values are going to grow significantly over the next 5 to 10 years. Specifically, areas near major development sites, southern Franklin County near Arsenal One, downtown near the Merchants Building, corridors along the BRT lane. This is where you're going to position yourself if you're thinking about long-term value and long-term appreciation. And look, this is by by far the most important point. Columbus is making these investments while housing is still affordable and the city is still accessible to regular families. Areas like Austin, Denver, and Nashville, they've made similar transitions, but by the time that people realized what was happening, they were already priced out. Look, I'll be honest with you, I live here and I've got family that lives here. Columbus in 2026 and the future is going to look and feel significantly different than the Columbus of today. We're talking about more jobs, better infrastructure, more amenities, and more reasons to actually live here, not go to Florida. But at the same time, it's still going to be Columbus, a place where your money goes further, where you can buy a house with a yard, where you can build wealth while having a life outside of work. Look, if you're thinking about making Columbus home, 2026 might be the last year to position yourself before all these developments fully transform the market. And if you want to navigate these strategically, understanding which neighborhoods will benefit the most from the developments, which properties offer the best long-term value, and which timing works best for your specific situation, that's exactly what my team and I do every single day. Listen, all of our contact information is down below and pinned to the top of the chat. Whether you're 6 months away, whether you're ready to start looking tomorrow, just feel free to reach out. We'd love the opportunity to collaborate with you and make homeownership a real reality. But look, if you're not quite ready to make Columbus home just yet, I understand. We actually made an entire playlist where you can understand every single thing that's happening in Columbus right now, and also some secrets that no one's willing to tell you. I'm gonna put that playlist right here, watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.